Imagine you are making a sandwich. You walk to the kitchen and you pull out your ingredients and materials. First, you take your buttered bread and place it on a plate. Then you place the next ingredient. This may be lettuce. Then another ingredient, tomato, and then beetroot, carrot, and your choice of meat, topping it off with a second slice of bread. This is a metaphor that best describes my literacy journey, and each ingredient acts as the knowledge throughout my years of education, building and expanding one after the other. My knowledge began small, just as the sandwich did, and with each stage of schooling, whether that be each grade or each type of education, has continued to grow and build. It occurred sequentially. After daycare came kindergarten, after kindergarten came primary school, and then high school and university, similarly to the ingredients that came one after the other in the sandwich. The first layer of bread in the sandwich can explain my birth and the knowledge I would soon begin to learn about the people and the world around me. The lettuce, my daycare years, and the basic knowledge acquired in those years of my life. The tomato, my progression to kindergarten, learning to communicate with others and improve my speech. The next stage of primary school is represented by the beetroot in the sandwich, the beginning of studies of English or maths, as well as continuing social interaction and teamwork. High school being carrot and an introduction to new ideas, ways of thinking, challenges, and more sophisticated decision making and knowledge. The choice of meat for the sandwich being the current stage of university, where a new and interesting way of thinking, studying, learning, and environment is occurring, and the knowledge to assist with the rest of my learning life being acquired. The final ingredient of the sandwich being the last piece of bread is when knowledge is no longer needed in life. Life has been fulfilled with lots of information from all areas of education, bringing an end to a long life of learning. It really is just deeper than making a sandwich. As a newborn baby, my mum always told me that her favourite thing to do was sit down and read a book to me. The love for reading was passed on very quickly to me, and at the age of 1 to 2, although I could not actually read yet, I always reached for a book. I remember my favourites being I Love You and The Rainbow Fish. Even today I still have these books, and they are extremely close to me as a representation of my literacy growth as a child and a new hobby being learned. As well as books, I also became extremely glued to music, specifically Robbie Williams, he was a big one, Matchbox 20, Coldplay and Red Hot Chili Peppers, which were the frequent artists playing through my house. My dad would also sing these songs to me, which I believe began to advance my understanding of words and sentences, as well as the beginning of my understanding of speaking or singing and pronunciation of words. Moving to kindergarten at age 3, I began to express my creativity and learn about new ideas, materials and social connections. In this year we were taught social literacy such as manners and not to speak over others. I have distant memories of being a cheeky kid who was sometimes naughty, but often I was found in the beanbags reading a book. In my last year of kindergarten, my manners improved and when now learned behaviours and social interaction became less daunting. Here I was taught more about colours, shapes, basic literacy and maths. I remember having reading time where we would all sit in a circle and the educator would read a story, which I found was one of my favourite parts of the day. We also had a show and tell box which we took home on a Friday to bring back the next Monday, and we would share whatever we had put in this box. This taught me to speak in front of groups of children without fear, as well as allowed me to storytell and share information that I found exciting or personal. In grade prep of primary school, I was introduced to language and literacy skills as a focused learning aspect. This also included thinking and problem-solving skills, early numeracy and independence in learning. This is where I began to learn further through play, by doing puzzles, playing board games or playing outside, making things like necklaces or props and investigating uses of materials to count or measure things like height, shape and weight. I have a fond memory of doing a writing task about our holidays. It would possibly have been around grade 1, where we would write about what we did, where we went and who we spent it with. I remember still writing once the teacher signalled for everyone to come to the floor and share. Everyone else would share their 3 to 4 pages of writing, and once it came to my turn, my teacher was shocked to see that I had written 8 to 10 pages, including drawings and annotations. I still have this writing book today, which shows that I had a love for literature and writing, which would continue throughout my primary school years. Nearing the end of primary school, I had learned the areas of multiplication, addition and subtraction, as well as basic essay writing, analysis, reading skills, spelling and grammar, and comprehension. I got to create and plan out activities such as Sparkle videos, which were short scripted videos about Australian topics. We covered Ned Kelly. as well as a travel activity where my class would create a detailed folder of our made-up travels around the country, which we worked on the whole second semester. This included finding information about other countries and their food, places and language, and create an entire itinerary and diary of all the places we went, the food we ate, and the people we met. I'm doing one more. In grade 6, I won an English award at the end of year assembly for my outstanding reading and writing skills throughout the year, in which I was given a $100 voucher. In this year, I discovered my love for writing creative stories, art and music, which carried over into my high school years. I also decided that I wanted to work towards being a teacher or educator, finding specific interests in assisting children with special needs. At this stage, my sandwich had acquired half of the ingredients with the completion of each year of primary school and the knowledge learned and conditioned within these years. Throughout high school, I began to learn harder mathematics skills and formulas, as well as analysis of text, increasing punctuation, spelling and grammar techniques, and theories and techniques of art, as well as the history of art. In NAPLAN, I noticed reading and writing were my strongest areas of knowledge, where I would sit at almost 2 years above my current age. I began to learn more about digital presentation of information, as well as oral presentation, which was always a fear of mine, as well as communication in school, social media and messaging became a big part of my life, where everyone had a phone and social media platform to communicate on. In this, I learned communication through emojis, as well as acronyms or internet slangs, such as LOL, laugh out loud, BRB, be right back, and a popular one, WOD or WUD, what are you doing? These were commonly used throughout my mostly digital social life in high school. English was my favourite and most well-performed subject throughout the rest of high school. In year 11, I had submitted a creative story based on a short story we had read in class, which was asked to be featured in the end of year school book. This book featured many aspects of that particular year, such as school life, important events, and student work such as mine. My teacher had also suggested I enter a poem competition for our state, where students were to write a poem about themselves and could be in the running to win a cash prize. I had begun this, but by the time she'd given me the information, it was nearing the end date, so I couldn't finish it in time. At the end of high school, I unfortunately had experienced problems such as feeling like I didn't belong, or feeling as though I had no one to count on or hang out with, which led me to feel extremely lonely and hate coming to high school. This did not pose as a threat to me at the start of the year, as I maintained good grades in all areas. However, by the end of the year, I noticed my classes beginning to slightly drop, which led me to not want to do my exams. I finished the year with a good SPA, which was a student personal learning score, with English as my strongest class. I had learned the English areas of persuasive text, movie and book analysis and critical essays, the mathematic areas of patterns and numbers, theories, formulas, graphs, statics and arithmetics. Alongside this, I was also learning about contemporary art and culture, various aspects of brain development, learning and memory, and practical investigation of psychology, and youth, family, crime, culture, and ethnicity and community, social movements and change as a part of sociology. Before the exam period, I had a change of mind about participating in exams, as I believed being out of the negative school environment made me realise my goals in life. I completed my exams, thankfully, which were very average as I had barely studied, and found that English was again my strongest score. This was accompanied by sociology, surprisingly. I luckily was accepted into my desired course of early childhood and primary education at La Trobe, which is something I had always desired to do throughout my early years to early high school years. Now at university, my initial diagnostic assessment was at a level 5 with various areas of improvement, including some of planning, drafting and proofreading, critical reading and text analysis, purpose of text and punctuation. I was shocked to find critical reading and text analysis, as well as comprehension and purpose of text, amongst the topics I need to practice, as these were my strong points in Year 12 English classes. I had found that spelling, structure and cohesion and presentational features were some of the things that I was good at. In attempts to improve my score, I have continued to read external pieces of text whenever I can to gain more knowledge of advanced text. I often search and keep a log of words that I have not seen or cannot fully understand, and have been incorporating some of these words into my assessments where necessary to grasp the usage and context of them. My university journey has only just begun, but will continue to aid in my literacy and knowledge, which will ultimately help my future careers. Not only am I studying a course that I have always desired to study, but I am also studying a course that covers the dynamics and progress of literacy in young children, just as I have seen through the early years of my life. This will put into perspective the things I have already experienced to further gain knowledge to help me with educating others in the future, as well as improve my studies. In each stage of my life, from birth all the way to my current stage of university, I have acquired knowledge that has continued to build with each progression of schooling. Each piece of knowledge is learned in different stages of life or education and stays with me throughout the next stages. Therefore, my literacy journey can be explained by a metaphor, which is making a sandwich. Each ingredient is prepared and added until the last piece of bread is applied and a complete sandwich is assembled.